Title: Check Review. The Web of Power and Revenge. It was the night that would change everything. The city's underground world was tense, as gang wars, betrayals, and vendettas played out behind closed doors. Lawrence Bishnoi, one of the most feared names in the underworld, had just come into the spotlight, fueled by his quest for revenge against those who had crossed him. Among his targets was none other than Salman Khan, the iconic Bollywood star. The feud between Lawrence and Salman wasn't just about the infamous black buck hunting case anymore. It had become a matter of ego, power, and retribution. Lawrence, believing that his community's pride had been shattered by the incident, had vowed to make Salman pay. Over the years, the hatred had festered, pulling in allies and enemies alike. But as Lawrence plotted his next move, something unexpected happened: the murder of Sidhu Moosewala, a popular singer who had recently gained fame for his outspoken songs about the underworld. Sidhu had connections in both the music and criminal worlds, and his death shook the entire country. Rumors swirled that Lawrence's gang was behind the assassination, but no one could confirm it. Moosewala's death cast a long shadow, creating unrest among his fans and the youth who looked up to him. Salman Khan, meanwhile, was living in constant fear. His past had come back to haunt him, and his once glamorous life was now surrounded by bodyguards, security, and public appearances shrouded in tension. He knew Lawrence wouldn't rest until he had taken his revenge. In the midst of this chaos, Baba Sahib, an influential spiritual leader, was emerging as a voice of peace and wisdom. Baba Sahib had lived his life preaching about forgiveness and unity, and he had a deep influence on both the rich and the poor. But Baba Sahib's teachings had also made him a target. Powerful criminals saw his words as a threat to their reign of fear, and it wasn't long before his life, too, was at risk. One fateful evening, all these paths collided at a secret event held in the heart of the city, where politicians, celebrities, and criminals often rubbed shoulders. Lawrence Bishnoi made an appearance. Sidhu Moosewala's murder was fresh in everyone's minds, and tensions were running high. Salman Khan was also present, under heavy security, but his fear was palpable. Baba Sahib had been invited to speak about peace, hoping to bridge the growing divide between the underworld and the rest of society. As Baba Sahib took the stage, a hush fell over the crowd. His voice was calm and commanding, and for a moment, it felt like peace was within reach. But Lawrence Bishnoi had other plans. He had brought his men with him, and they were ready to send a message no one, not even Baba Sahib, was safe from the wrath of the underworld. But just as the tension reached its peak, something unexpected happened. Salman Khan, who had been silent all this time, stepped forward. He walked up to Baba Sahib, bowed his head in respect, and then turned to face Lawrence. "There has been enough bloodshed," Salman said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "This is not the path. We are all pawns in a game we didn't create, but we can choose to end it." The crowd was stunned. Lawrence Bishnoi's men tensed, waiting for a signal from their leader. But Lawrence himself was silent, watching the scene unfold. For the first time, there was hesitation in his eyes. Baba Sahib then spoke. "True strength lies not in taking lives, but in protecting them. Revenge will only destroy more families, more futures. Let us end this cycle today." The night, which had been teetering on the edge of violence, took an unexpected turn. Lawrence Bishnoi, after what felt like an eternity, gave a slow nod. He didn't forgive, but for the first time, he paused. His vendetta against Salman was far from over. But in that moment, he chose not to strike. As the event came to a close, the tension eased, but everyone knew that the peace was fragile. Lawrence Bishnoi's gang would continue to rule the streets. Sidhu Moosewala's murder would remain a mystery, and Salman Khan's safety was still in question. But Baba Sahib's words had left an impression, a small seed of hope that perhaps, just perhaps, the cycle of violence could be broken one day.